There are lots of NX rumors going around right now, and they all pretty much agree that the NX is going to be a mobile slash home console hybrid. A new rumor states that the NX is not going to be competing against the Xbox One or the PS4, which, duh. But it's going to be competing against the mobile market, like smartphones. Wait, no, don't moan. This is a great thing, I swear. The DS and the 3DS's biggest competitor was not the Vita. The Vita never did so hot. It was actually iOS devices. You, the person sitting at home, might find this hard to believe. Why would somebody want to game on something without buttons? Why wouldn't you want the Pokemans or the Marios in your pocket? As kids growing up, you would not see us on family trips without our Game Boys. But just imagine being a kid today. All the adults around you are using smartphones. You're gonna want a device that allows you to browse the internet, listen to music, and play games at the same time. So why wouldn't you want a smartphone? And don't tell me you can browse the internet just fine on your Vita. That browser sucks ass. Let's not forget, these kids didn't grow up with the Pokemans and the Marios. They're growing up with the Candy Crush and the Angry Birds. It probably sucks to be a kid right now. By no means am I suggesting that Nintendo drop everything they're doing and focus on mobile-like games. They should not stoop to that level. Nintendo's job is to create new gamers, people who otherwise wouldn't be gaming at all. This could mean kids who have never played a game before, or adults who are just super casual gamers. This is also the reason that Nintendo doesn't need to make hardware that's comparable with the Xbox One or the PS4. Do you really need to play the next Call of Duty on the NX? I didn't think so. I've used this quote before, but even Shuhei Yoshida, president of Sony Worldwide Studios, thinks that they need Nintendo to usher in new users. When you look at the situation around Nintendo that way, do you characterize Nintendo as our competition? I think in the bigger scale of things happening in the industry or tech or people's lives, how they play games on what device, and how they start to learn to play games, I think Nintendo and us are pretty much in the same group. And we need Nintendo to be very successful to help induct as many consumers who like to play games with controllers. Right? Really, I just wanted an excuse to show off that graphic again. If this isn't proof enough that they're not competing with each other, then I don't know what it is. Last year, Nintendo dove headfirst into the mobile market with their acquisition of DNA. This year, they released their first mobile games, Miitomo and Pokemon Go. You might have heard of that last one. Pokemon Go was so successful that it catapulted Nintendo's stock prices, despite Nintendo having very little involvement in the game. Regardless, July ended up being a huge sales month for the Nintendo 3DS because of all the attention that Pokemon Go was getting. Sales were up 80% over last month. That's insane for a console that's supposedly dying. Pokemon Alpha Ruby and Omega Sapphire sales were also up 80%, and Pokemon X and Y sales were up 200%. Jesus Christ. This is due to the massive success of a mobile game. Do you still think that the mobile market isn't important to Nintendo's success, huh?
Of course they're not. People aren't that stupid. Probably. At least, I hope they're not.
Who let him in here?
Also, I made it on the Wulff Den. Yes. Also, hi Bob.
Hi.
Very few, if any, developers are as well equipped as Nintendo to succeed in the mobile space. That's been proven time and time again with the Game Boy and DS lines. This is because Nintendo has the IP necessary to sell consumers on the hardware and the technical skill to produce AAA experiences on hardware far less powerful for a fraction of the price. Generally, their competitors produce games that cost millions upon millions of dollars and usually are targeted to sell around 5 million units. But Nintendo says that they only need to sell 2 million copies of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for that to become profitable. Square Enix, for example, couldn't make their money back on 5 million units of the Tomb Raider reboot. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is going to make its money back on less than half of that. And Nintendo has a history of punching above their weight class as far as games go. Look at Mario Kart 8, that's still one of the most beautiful games of this generation. Not for a Wii U game of this generation. And not just that, moving more towards a mobile market with NX is a great idea because it separates Nintendo from their competitors. I'd say it's a lot more appealing to pick up a handheld with comparable specs than it is to pick up a third watered down PC. NX's hybrid design is like a Trojan horse for Nintendo's success. It gives consumers a clearly defined destination for all the Nintendo games, and it gives developers one single platform to focus their attention on. And again, I can't stress enough the importance of the fact that it separates Nintendo even further from Sony and Microsoft. A home console that's less powerful than PS4? But a handheld that's even half as powerful as a PS4? Fucking sign me up. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. Maybe you completely agree, you think I'm a genius and you want to hear me talk more about NX. If you do, click.
How dare you curse on my channel? Speaking of gangbuster IPs, yes, the NX is going to launch with Zelda Breath of the Wild, but it's also rumored to be launching with a Smash Brothers game and a Pokemon game. But calm down, they're probably just ports. Relax. Smash Brothers is probably going to be a Game of the Year edition or some equivalent, and Pokemon would probably just be like a special version of one of them. I also have a feeling that the NX is going to have some weird sort of backwards compatibility thing going on because of its weird nature of being a mobile/home console hybrid and the early death of the Wii U, because they're going to want some of those games on the NX. All I know is toss Mario Maker on that bitch, and I'll be all about that. But will all this be enough to convert smartphone users? I think the immense sales spike of the 3DS last month proved that Nintendo is capable of such a thing, but it's still a mystery whether the NX is going to be able to mirror such an accomplishment. I'm willing to bet that yes, the NX is going to be very, very successful. They've been in dark times recently, but they've been able to pull themselves out before. They're going to do it again. They're going to. And no, they're not going to put your stupid Call of Duty on the NX. Nobody gives a shit. What do you guys think about the NX being a competitor to mobile games? Do you think that's a good focus for Nintendo as a company? What type of games would you like to see on this thing? Are you worried that they're going to get a little too mobile gamey? I don't think so. You're not going to be seeing Pokemon Go on this thing. I'm just thinking it's going to be like a glorified 3DS, you know? Or a Vita with just Nintendo games. That would be awesome. That's exactly what I want. But I wouldn't worry too much about them focusing on the mobile market. You're still going to be getting the same great Nintendo games that you've always gotten. They're not going to like dumb them down because they're trying to appeal to mobile users. All that means is that they want to convert mobile users into a better gaming experience. That's all that means. But what do you guys think? Leave in the comments below. Add me on Twitter. All this other social media garbage. Also, talk to AJ. If you liked him, check out his channel over here. They've got their own video on NX rumors and speculations, pretty much in line with the Wulff Den's theories. There are new videos every single Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Wednesday nights is Wulff Den Live. Be a part of our live podcast. That goes up archived on Thursdays. YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, and the SoundCloud. As always, the most important things that you can do is subscribe and share this video with a friend who either likes mobile games or one that likes Nintendo and is a little afraid of what might be happening with them. What do you think about that? Thank you guys very much. Have a good week. Nintendo is a very old company that has recently been going through a lot of problems. It always knows exactly what it's doing, though, except for the Wii U and the disk drive and the Virtual Boy. I think it's safe to say by now that the Wii U is a commercial failure. Nintendo's got to do something about this, and they are. No Man's Sky is very much an indie game. From the trailers, it might not look like an indie game, but it was made by a small team of people with a limited budget, and that is the formula for an indie game, isn't it? Should these people have to expect an indie experience, or should they be judging an indie game on the same scale as a AAA game? What have we done in the past for other similar titles?